This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and as always I am delighted to be joined by trainer Sugar Hill Stewarrd here in Las Vegas, which seems to be the only place I see you, Sugar. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, very well to see you again. And yeah, what are we going to talk about today? Because we're here for the Crawford. I'm here for the Crawford and Porter fight, just as a spectator, and I just want to see a good fight. So I know you're going to try to ask me who do I think will win, but I just think it's too close and too tough of a fight. Both fighters are both experienced, and I mean, it's just one of those fights everybody's just waiting to see, and we've been waiting to see that fight for a while with Terence Crawford and somebody, or with Shawn Porter and somebody. Both exciting fighters.
I asked Ben Davison earlier, he's fought to me, so I'll put the same question to you. Let's say if Terence is successful against Shawn, does that cement him as the number one at 147, or does Errol Spence hold that, or do you currently think Terence is anyway?
I just think it's the top three, guys in the division right now. I do consider Errol Spence as, one of the tops, and Terence Crawford. Shawn Porter is one of the top. It's just a great division, so it's not really one to say, but you've got a good mixture of guys competing against each other, and I'm just happy to see Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter get together. They're two different promotions and everything like that, but now that things are getting together for big fights now, so it just makes it more exciting for me.
Sugar, I know you don't want to give a prediction, but what do you anticipate to see on Saturday night?
Rough and tough. I mean, it. It's Shawn Porter's in there, and Crawford's not going to back down too much either, so it's going to be a rough and tough fight.
Obviously, just got a kind of man next to me, Gordy Russ, your cousin, who you are now training. Talk to me about Gordy. What should the fans expect to see from him?
Well, I expect to see, the fans should expect to see an exciting, well-rounded fighter. And, I've started him off training, and then he's been with Tony Harris and Superbad's gym over there for the past, 5-6 years maybe, something like that. But doing very well over there, getting a lot of experience. And the reason I couldn't train him is because I've been away on the road, so it was impossible for me to train him. And I think we were close together, lived close together, close by, but then had moved. So just different situations, but now we are back together, and I just expect a lot from him. He's been involved in boxing for so long, just putting in that dedication. And for me, it's rare to see someone like catch the bus, like walking to the gym, doing anything they can to stay in that gym. And he's one of them, so I expect a lot from him.
What's the relationship dynamic like as cousins? Does it ever interfere with the training side of things? Do you ever have disagreements, or is it very much you're on the same page and agree on everything?
Well, I'm not sure, because it's, like I said, I started him off boxing, but it's been a few years since then. So I just believe it's probably pretty much similar to my relationship and Emmanuel. So whatever Emmanuel says, what I did. I kind of maybe fought a little bit, but thinking back on all the things he taught me, yeah, everything he said was correct.
One thing I did forget to ask, you mentioned you're here as kind of a spectator for this weekend for Crawford-Porter. How refreshing is it for yourself to be here, just to be able to enjoy the fights rather than have to worry about somebody, whether it be on the undercard of a main event fight, just being able to kick back, see it, maybe eat some popcorn and just watch what's going to unfold?
Well, you said it. You see, I'm starting to smile. I couldn't wait for you to finish the question so I could answer it just with a big smile. So yeah, for me to just sit there and relax and watch, I think it's going to be a great fight, is enjoyable for me, about us being at home watching it on television. So a lot of people don't realize it and understand it, that when you work the corners, it's not just as glamorous as they think it is, because working the corner, we don't have the best seats. You got the corner pole in the way, the turnbuckles, you got the cameraman, you got the ropes. It's really not the best view, to watch the fight. I like to sit on the first rise. The first rise up, maybe about 4 or 5 rows up. That's the best seat for me, anytime.
Sugar, just going back a couple of weeks, obviously Anthony Durrell, charge of yours, successful with a third round stoppage victory. Just reflect on his performance. How impressed, how happy were you with what he delivered on the night?
I'll make it real quick like he did. It was a one-punch knockout. One punch, an uppercut that we had been working on. We had been working on this uppercut. It was something that I saw that I knew would be very effective in that fight, and it was. It was the last and telling blow in the 4th round that ended the fight. So it was a great fight, exciting win for Anthony. One of his biggest knockouts. I know we've had some before, but televised on the big scene, on the pay-per-view, that was a big knockout for him, and it just went to show that he's still a threat and a big voice in boxing still.
Before that fight, Canelo was the name that he was calling for. Seems like that's unlikely next. We'll come on to the Makabu situation shortly, but away from Canelo, is there any other names that you guys have discussed?
No, I haven't discussed anything. It's really nothing to discuss. It's none of my business to say. It's just let me know who you're going to fight, and then I just train you for that person. So that's between Anthony and his advisors management, Al Heyman and PBC. So whatever they decide, I'm okay with it. That's my job, is to win with knockouts.
And just going back to Canelo, what did you make of his undisputed victory against Caleb Plant?
I thought it was a good victory for him. It was exciting. It wasn't as exciting, but it had its drama the whole way through because it's Canelo. And in the 11th round, he finished the deal. So I love knockouts.
And you got to see a knockout?
Yeah.
Makabu, the WBC approved Canelo moving up to cruiserweight to face the WBC title holder next year. I just want to get your take on potentially seeing Canelo up at cruiserweight next against Makabu.
It's just interesting for me. I think he'll do well just because if he wasn't going to do well, then why even do it at all? So for me, that's just my simple take on it. I'm not even sure who the opponent is right now. I haven't seen him. I don't know how tall he is. I don't watch boxing every day like that or read about it, so I have to do my research. I just heard about it and read about it this morning before I come here.
Sugar, I've got to ask as well. Tyson, I'm sure you also saw the WBC have not mandated Dillian Whyte just yet because he's got an ongoing arbitration case with the WBC. So I just want to get your kind of reaction to that and where things currently stand with Tyson and where he may well end up fighting next.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. As long as he's fighting and staying busy. So my reaction is just...
Do you have any knowledge as to what will happen next? Who else is out there for a potential fight?
No, I don't even think that far. That's why I stay looking young. I don't add stress to myself. It's extra stress for me because I have no control over it. So I don't feel it's necessary for me to even think about it so much. Just let me know who you want him to fight. I get him ready. I get the knockout. Let's go home.
We are waiting to see, or find out rather, if in the interim whilst all that's going on, if Tyson's able to face somebody else or if he has to wait for that arbitration case to once again be finished and sorted. So, you've been with him through the situation with Deontay Wilder. Tyson's spoken about inactivity. Is it frustrating for you guys that you may well have to wait to see what happens there before getting back out, before Tyson can get active again?
It can be frustrating, but I'm not going to show my frustration because if I do, then that brings more frustration on him. So if he knows I'm okay, then it kind of eases him to be okay. And that's just the kind of the bond that we have. So I can't just go out there and show frustrations, even though I'm not going to get frustrated or show it anyway because I like to stay looking young.
And Sugar, just a final thing, obviously last time we spoke, it was announced you're going to be working with Tommy Fury for the Jake Paul fight. He's back in the UK training with your heavyweight charge Tyson, so just kind of an update as to how do you know Tommy is getting on?
Because he's being trained by Trainer T, the Gypsy King. So the things I've taught Tyson, he's able to teach, and I've seen him do it with other fighters. So we'll hook back up when they come over to the US, and we'll have some time to finish things up and get it together and get another knockout.
How important is it that Tommy delivers more of a spectacular showing in this fight than he has previously throughout his career? Because there's a lot of talk as to how this fight will play out, and a lot of people seem to make it a 50-50 fight.
Well, you're asking about the importance of it. I think you know it. You've heard Tyson express himself and the rest of the Fury family, and I guess they got a little bet going on too with Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. So it sounds pretty serious to me.
Right, Sugar, we'll leave it there now because I know you wanted to go get something to eat, so I appreciate your time. Thank you for speaking to me.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's Boxing Social Street. Thank you.
Get some A5 grade 10 or 12.
Sugar, thank you.
All right, take it easy.